And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Oh my gosh.
Hello,
We're here.
fuckers.
We're here. We're here.
We're here.
We had a mishap. Well, I didn't have a mishap. Chris had a mishap.
Yeah.
We had a tragic loss.
You know what it deserves?
What's that?
It deserves a beer right now because
It was a sacrifice that was made.
that one hurt.
That one hurt, dude.
That one hurt
We
me.
had a big loss. We're not talking about
Here,
James
you
Earl
want, you want
Jones.
one?
Yes, sir,
Well,
I do.
I'll crack two because it
I'll
hurts
crack
me so.
It hurts him so
And-
much, man. There's,
Yes, there's been multiple losses today.
This one's really devastating, though. This one that just happened is really,
Damn.
it's really sad, dude. As a man, you know what I'm saying?
As a man, this one hurt.
When you came back and you were holding it in your arms, and me and your dad and your brother were sitting there waiting for you,
watching its lifeless body sit on the ground,
And
as
you
I
just-
threw,
you
as
put it on
I
the
threw
ground.
it down.
and there's pieces, dude. It looked like D-Day in your driveway.
You're my boy, Blue.
My boy, Blue. You may be asking, what is it? A cat, dog, family member? No. More important, not. No, I'm joking. It's definitely not more important.
Oh God.
Power tool,
Okay,
man.
just
It's a power tool.
I made a mistake, guys.
Yep.
I fucked up.
Yep.
I was cutting some wood earlier today, making a frame for a window.
Yeah.
And I got interrupted by company, and I set my shit down on the tailgate of my truck.
Yep.
And then it sat there, and I forgot about it. And then I ran to the store today. It was right before the show to get diapers.
Yeah.
I come out of the store, and I see my tailgate down with a 2x4 hanging out of it, and the measuring tape still sitting on the tailgate.
Yeah.
And my heart went into my stomach.
Yeah. What do you do, you know?
I immediately, you know, when you realize something or you see something and you just go, ugh.
Yeah, you just go, fuck.
That's exactly what happened. And I drove slow on the way home.
No luck.
Didn't see anything on the road. Came inside, told him, I fucking lost my saw.
Are we having issues on YouTube? Are we good?
I don't know. It's not working on YouTube, I guess. So whatever.
Sorry, dude.
I'm not worried about it right now.
Anyways, you were searching. You were searching.
I was searching, and then I finally found it.
Yep.
Finally found it stuck under another vehicle that was on the side of the highway.
You're lucky. I got to be honest with you. Joking aside, you're lucky. That could have caused a bad accident, man. You know what I'm saying? Big old piece of tool. You know, if they would have swerved or some shit, you know what I mean? But it was underneath the car.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for your info, did she?
No.
Oh, that's good, dude.
No.
Because she, dude, what if it would have like punctured a fucking oil pan or some shit? You know what I'm saying? It's a saw, bro.
Yeah. Luckily, luckily it didn't do anything, and it was just, it just caught the side. It was like stuck under the door side part.
Didn't dent it or anything?
I didn't look.
Smart move. It's a smart move.
I noticed. I just told her, man, I'm glad it didn't pop your tire.
Yeah.
And then I was like, thank you for helping me look for it. and I left. And I just was shaking my head.
Yeah, dude. Just so you guys know, are we having an issue with YouTube?
I tried the YouTube Studio thing, and it was supposed to start streaming on both, and apparently it didn't. So
yeah. Well, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
That dual streaming is a bitch.
yeah, I don't know why.
Anyways, hey,
whatever.
cheers to your tool, man.
Yeah,
It's a loss. You know what I mean? I feel you for that. Oh, by the way, Greg's not here, guys. Sorry. He's got shit he's got to do today.
Yeah,
He's got to work tomorrow, and he's got some shit he has to take care of.
yeah, he's got some day job shit to do.
You know, just got off work. I got to work a 6-day this week, and I got to work a 6-day next week, which sucks. But it's cool.
Oh.
But we got a storm brewing. You know what I'm saying? We got the old...
We don't.
well, it's not going to hit here. That's true.
No, it's
But,
gonna hit more Louisiana, Alabama area.
Yeah, but we have to send some people over to our Louisiana locations
Oh,
because they're actually it's kind of slow right now. It's what's it Florida? What's a fucking hurricane called?
I don't know what it's called.
Florine? What's it?
Fluorine?
No, it's not fluorine. That's definitely not what it is.
I seen that there was one coming, but it's just gonna be a Category 1.
Francine, Hurricane Francine.
Francine.
It's
Damn it,
actually
Francine.
So it's down at the it's down in the Gulf right now, and they're actually they thought it was a hurricane level 1
Yeah.
or a whatever. How do you say that?
It's a Category
1, but they're saying now it's going to be a Category 2, potentially Category 3.
Oh, really?
They said that they're worried because there's something going on with the eye, and they're like, ah, shit, like it could really pick up some speed tomorrow.
I hate it when shit starts happening with the eye.
I know, man. You gotta be careful of that. But here's the thing. So first of all, obviously, storms happen. That's part of it's part of being on the Gulf. But as always, guys, if you're in the area of Louisiana, you know what I'm saying, down in Baton Rouge or New Orleans or even Galveston, I know Galveston's gonna get probably some heavy winds and shit from the perimeter, but be safe. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves.
definitely not as much as the last hurricane that came through. But I mean, for the Houston area, I think it's only just tropical storm warning as of right now.
Yeah, so that's the thing is you never know how they're gonna fall. They're usually fairly good at aiming these things, but obviously if you're anywhere in the area, they're basically the perimeter is kind of Houston to Louisiana, right, or to New Orleans is kind of the area. It looks like it's gonna. Last one I just saw, it looks like it's gonna hit in between New Orleans and the whatever it is. I can't remember what the lake is. Right outside of Texas. So hopefully it doesn't. Well, we're gonna get some rain, some storms, but guys, just be safe out there. Obviously, wish everybody well. You don't want no flooding. New Orleans is not a good place to have flooding. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yep. Take care of yourselves over there to our east.
But in a real note, we did lose somebody today.
A legend has fallen today. Besides my skill saw.
Well, that was, I wouldn't call that a legend.
It worked pretty good.
I'd call that a good mate. You know what I'm saying?
It worked pretty good.
It worked good, but
it was expensive.
James Earl Jones, my friend.
Yeah, James Earl Jones passed away today, guys.
That's a sad one, dude. You know what's funny about that guy?
He's the voice of our childhood.
Oh, he has a lot of great voices, and other than Morgan Freeman, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you think of and obviously.
It's a hard toss-up between who has the better voice.
It's not
Morgan Freeman or James Earl Jones.
It's not really about better, but there's a lot of people that you recognize their voice. I mean, you recognize Adam Sandler's voice. You know what I'm saying?
True.
There's people that you recognize their voice, but
they have a triumphant voice.
Like there's something about these uniquely specific voices. You know what I'm saying? And James Earl Jones had that. He had that, and he's had it for a long time. I mean, the guy passed away. He's 93. He lived a long life. Certainly, no one's upset that his life was cut short or something. The man had a long, very successful life, and from all aspects, you got to think of this. I want to say this: we've had a lot of discussions on the show about different Hollywood people and the way that people are. Yeah. And I'll say this: there, especially nowadays, it's far and few between where you have somebody who's been in the game for that long and seemingly is not part of the whole corrupt Hollywood, corrupt bullshit. I mean, the guy never seemed to get in trouble. I never heard of him getting in trouble. You never hear about drama. In the news. Never in the news.
The only time you ever heard about James Earl Jones was when he did a movie.
Yeah.
Other than that, out of the limelight.
And he's just like one of those guys that you just want to give a bear hug to. You know what I mean? He just seemed like a really nice soul. Yeah. And it's like, obviously for us, we grew up with Sandlot, and he was in that. Was it Lion King, right? Lion King was one of them.
Yeah.
But, for me, especially my later, Star Wars, man. You know what I'm saying?
Star Wars,
man. It just seemed like a nice guy, man. It's a sad loss, dude. But you're just like, yeah, he 93. How can you complain about that? If I could live to 93 and I was blessed to live till 93 years old, and be a guy who seemingly seems like a stand-up human, man, that's a legacy right there. You know what I'm saying? And Morgan Freeman's going to be he's old. Morgan Freeman's old too, man. He's
getting up there.
I hope he lives to 150, but the truth is he's old, and that'll be another one that's just like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Morgan Freeman? Jesus, man. Anyways, so there's that. It happens.
It does.
Now, is it going to come in threes? I feel like it always comes in threes.
Sometimes. I mean, there are stragglers sometimes that are just the lonesome cowboys that die off on their own.
Yeah.
But it does come like every other year, where when like 3 big names go.
But usually, I don't know how he died. I'm guessing just age. I'm guessing
Probably.
And without Greg here, we're not going to obviously get deep on this because if Greg was here, it would be Illuminati.
Oh, he died at 3 o'clock.
There would be
on
some
the
story.
3rd.
Yeah, it'd be
And
90.
He blinked 3 times.
What's the day today? He died on today's date, right? 9/9.
Oh, what's that upside down?
24.
Oh,
it is 9/9/24. 24 equals 6.
Oh, yep. 4 + 2 is 6.
He's only 2/3 evil. No, it'd be 1/3 evil. Because there's 2 9s, so it'd be 1/3 evil.
9/9/24 upside down.
Something, dude. That
6,
means
6,
something.
6.
It fucking means something. If he was here, that's what he would say. No, but what I will say is this. Usually when
that's reaching. No, that's fucking reaching.
Field of Dreams. You know what that means, right? Field of Dreams, Field of Horror.
God.
No, I'll say this. Usually when these celebrities pass away, there's some ominous thing that's behind it. It's a suicide. It's questionable. It's drug related. He said this and this before, and this one to me is, of all the cases of people just passing away of celebrities, this is one of those ones that feels like, man, he was just an old guy. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing, and it's kind of refreshing. It's kind of refreshing.
If you want to get weird, also, I mean, he was the dark force, and he just died.
Dark side, bro.
Dark side just ended.
It's funny the story behind that though. That Darth Vader, obviously he did the voice, but he did not play Darth Vader. He was not in costume.
Well, yeah.
And it was funny because the guy that they had in costume was a British fella. You know what I'm saying? I think he was from Britain.
Oh, really?
And he had a British voice, and that's why they chose.
Why wouldn't they have him in costume?
Well, this because Darth Vader's a big figure. It's tall and very. And I don't think James Earl Jones was a very tall figure or anything. So they wanted
stand on stilts or something.
Yeah, but they wanted an imposing guy, and they had this dude. And I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but there's actually video you can get on YouTube and watch. You can watch Darth Vader speaking. And he does not sound scary because he's British. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So they're like, they opted to obviously have him voice it over. They had the gentleman play Darth and do all the movements, and then James Earl Jones actually did the voiceover. And that's an iconic voice, right? Like in hindsight, no one else could have done that. You know what I'm saying? Like Darth Vader is absolutely iconic, and his voice and the whole thing is iconic. And so now. I mean, you could argue that maybe if the other guy did it, maybe it would have been iconic too, but I don't think so, man. I think that voice is just that distinct, Dude, do the real voice of Darth Vader.
The real voice, or do you want to do the quotes?
Yeah, right there. Voice of Darth Vader before James Earl Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do that.
Finding the right voice for Darth Vader was another challenge. Lucas had never intended.
Piece by piece until you find those tapes. Find the passengers of this vessel. I want them alive.
Not as good.
It sounded like Hitler.
It's not as good.
Like Hitler singing, I find them alive.
Yeah, it's like a British Hitler, dude.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been as good.
No, man. Like it's not imposing. Like his voice is so imposing. Dude.
I wonder if they recorded it and they're like, his voice isn't working, and then they had to bring someone else to do a voiceover over the top of it, or if they planned that from the beginning.
I've actually watched this particular little documentary kind of thing, and I believe that they had him, and then they obviously did the voices and stuff. And I think he did it mostly because he wanted to have the James Earl Jones could go behind him and they could take the voice out, and he could mimic that. But I think they may have wanted to initially just have the character be the voice, but I think that they ended up deciding that it wasn't imposing enough. Like Darth Vader's a figure.
If he was originally supposed to be the voice, that's actually funny, because if they're in pre-production and they're just listening back and like, man, he is not scary.
No, click that one right there. Working. Click that shorts. It says rest in peace, James Earl. The original. Oh, is that the same?
Oh no, he's just talking.
Oh, he's talking, man. Yeah. All right, before and after James Earl Jones. Do that one. It's only 10 seconds.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
Yeah, so much better. Dude.
Yeah.
So much more imposing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they to be fair to the original guy, they actually, they added some effects to his voice and shit to make James.
Well,
Earl
they
Jones
did the
even
James
more.
Earl Joneses too.
But,
it added a more digital effect.
That's
to
what I'm
his
saying. No,
voice.
they added it to James Earl Jones.
Oh, I
didn't-
thought you said the original.
No, we
guy.
got the raw version from the other guy. So
Yeah, that
maybe. But
yeah.
listen, I love British accents. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, I never find them intimidating.
Yeah.
Unless they would have got some like, some like goon or something, from Soccer Goon, who's like really like can barely understand him. Those guys can be kind of aggressive.
That's true.
sounding.
That's true.
But then you wouldn't understand them as well. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
they'd just be screaming all the time.
Yeah, and then like, who's British in space? They didn't make it that far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nobody.
No,
Nobody.
I don't believe for a second that the British made it that far in space. You know what I mean? I think they crikeyed out real quick. You know what I mean?
Even that little piece isn't like when I think of James Earl Jones. That voice, obviously, he was a lot younger then.
Oh yeah, sure.
So his voice it wasn't even as deep then. It's like the older he got, it got way deeper.
Yeah. I mean, the original came out, 77, I believe it was, 1977. We're approaching 50 years, man.
Yeah.
Which is
when did Lion King come out?
93. I just made that up, but I feel like that's right, dude. No, look that shit up. I feel like I'm really close if it's not.
I think that's pretty.
93 or 5.
Lion King.
Yeah, look that shit up. When I don't know why that fucking popped down my mouth.
93. 94. You're
Oh
fucking
damn,
yeah.
dude! I vomited that out, dude. I try to be fairly accurate with
When
my
Lion King was
assessment.
93.
Yeah, dude. I don't know why. That's fucking wild. That was like, that was another one that like at that age,
Still,
I
it
was
was
9 years old.
Almost 30 years after that movie.
But see, and then you had Sandlot, right? That came out. I want to say, that was probably
That was before Lion King.
no, I don't think so, man. I think that was like 95 or 6, dude.
93.
Oh, okay, so
It was
the
a
same
year before, yeah.
Oh, year before. Absolutely. Okay. Shit. But man, talk about two major movies though. Lion King was,
Lion King was way bigger than Sandlot.
Well, yeah, it was, but Sandlot arguably is a huge cult film. I mean, like anybody of our age group absolutely grew up with Sandlot. You know what I'm saying? And think of there's some great casts in there too that were iconic. But the Lion King was, I was 9. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of phasing out of the, arguably I thought I was, getting to the point where I was like, it's too cool for this shit. But that was a great movie, man. I mean, we can argue about Disney and all the shit that Disney does, but at that time, I mean, Jesus, that was massive.
I think Lion King, as all of us who are around the same age, was probably the first time we felt emotion during a movie.
No, not for me, dude.
No?
No.
What was
dude.
the first one?
I would say Bambi, probably. Remember, there's that scene where he was looking around for his mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was sad. You know the other
I feel
one?
like I don't remember watching Bambi though. I know what Bambi is, and I know the clips, and I know the scenes, but I just don't remember just watching the movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, and shit, man, there's a lot. I gotta be honest with you. There, the other one would be like, what
was the one we were watching the other night? All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Me and Chris had a little tear moment, dude. That shit blew my mind, dude. That shit really blew my mind. We didn't really talk about that, but. And I'm sure some of you know this. I did not know this. And to be straight up, I'm not a fan of it as a whole. Like, I never was a fan of All Dogs Go to Heaven. It was never, like, on my playlist. We never watched it a ton.
Yeah.
I watched it. I think we all watched it. But I didn't, it wasn't Disney,
Yeah.
But Land Before Time was in the same production company, which is... But anyways, the young
Both
lady...
Both of those are cult classics, though,
They
at
are.
the same time.
They absolutely are. But the video I had watched was oh, man. It made me cry, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was, I'm sitting here.
You had me watch it, and then you teared up again.
Yeah, I did. Well, so there's that scene at the end of that movie where the dog is speaking to the little girl. Like the dog had died. Spoiler, too late. It's 30 years ago. Let's get over it. The dog had died, and he had asked to come back and see the little girl one more time.
Yeah.
And so there's that scene where the dog comes in the window.
It's time for him to go again, or whatever.
It's time for him to go to heaven.
To go back.
Yeah. And so he gets on the bed with her, and she's sleeping, and he kind of wakes her up, and she's like, talking to him and shit. And then, and that was played by, what's his face? Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, yeah.
The dog was. And so he's speaking to the little girl, and he's saying his goodbyes. And she's like, will I ever see you again? And he goes, yeah, squirt, or whatever he calls her in the movie. And there's this exchange where she says, you know, I'll miss you and I love you or whatever it was. I mean, there's some shit there. But the little girl, her name was, Judith. No, that's not it. Is it?
That's not it?
Yeah, that was her. Judith Eva Barcy.
Yeah.
So she played the role of Ducky in Land Before Time. And
yeah.
I think all of us know, I don't think you knew that, but I think most of us hadn't heard, at least at one point in our lives, that she was murdered. This little girl was murdered. She actually, click her thing, will you? She died at fucking 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so she died in 88. But and we knew that, you know, at least some people did, that her father ended up murdering her mother and her, and then ended up killing himself, which is just tragic as shit.
Yeah.
Because her voice as Ducky was iconic.
Oh yeah.
And her voice obviously in this movie was, you know, iconic for a lot of people. But what I didn't know was this. I didn't know that you know, she had voiced these movies before
she had died, yeah.
Before she died.
Yeah.
And they weren't released until after she died. And so she did all the voicing for them. And then she did the voicing for All Dogs Go to Heaven. And she was done before the film was finished. And Burt Reynolds still had
she had
voicing to
she
do.
did all her voices.
Yep. Her lines were
and
done.
then they still had to record more stuff.
Yeah.
So and then
what was left though is what's
and
sad.
then she had died.
Yeah.
And then Burt had to come do his shit.
Yep. So Burt Reynolds had a scene that was left in the movie.
Yeah,
and that
the
scene
last
was
part
that last scene.
Where he was going back to heaven and saying goodbye. And she was asking, am I ever going to see you again? And he was like, had the emotional goodbye thing. But in reality, it was a real emotional goodbye thing.
It was his goodbye.
Yeah.
That's what breaks me. Because listen, we all know Burt Reynolds as like this macho guy, man. I mean, he was the figure, you know what I'm saying? Like just like a Clint Eastwood and James Dean and all these figures that you look at as like iconic American men, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you rewatch it, which I hadn't for a long time, but in this video, if you rewatch it, you hear him struggling a little bit, and you're like, oh, he's a great actor, right? He's getting into this scene, but in reality, she had died already, and he came into the studio to film this.
He was actually
hearing
struggling.
her voice, and the claim was that they had to do that take 60 something times because he couldn't hold it together.
Yeah. And
when you rewatch it, knowing that, you're just like,
you can
what
hear it.
The fuck, bro.
You can hear his voice crack a little, and like,
yeah. And that was the best take they could get.
yeah.
And it was actually to the point, from my understanding, is that they actually had to reanimate certain things, re-edit the film because, you know, it wasn't matching up the same because he couldn't do it right.
Mm.
And so they actually had to redo some parts just to make sure that one take they could get that was actually complete fit okay. And it's devastating, man. But to kind of go all back, you know, it's like, it's Hollywood, man. Like it's a place of a lot of sick people, you know, and not all of them are bad. I'm certainly not saying that. There's amazing people in Hollywood, but that little girl was 10, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, and first of all, should any kid be child acting? At this point, no. You know, like I watch this shows, my daughters watch them. I know your kids watch certain shows, but my oldest two obviously are at that point where they're watching not just cartoons, but they're watching, you know, these kind of teeny bop shows, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, when I see them or I'm just kind of watching with the girls, I'm not saying I'm catching a bunch of random stuff that I think is fishy. You know, at this point, I think people are on to the ploy, and I think they're watching for it. So I don't think they're doing it quite as much as they were, where there's sexual innuendos and other things that are happening. But I can't help to watch it and see, like, what is that kid going through right now? What's going on behind the scenes? What are his parents like? Because I feel like you have to be no sane person is going to put their children in that scene. I'm just being honest with you. Like, we're not talking about doing a Target commercial here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're talking about, like, being at a studio for 10 hours a day with your fucking 8-year-old or your 10 or 15, 14-year-old, being exposed to these fucking pedophiles and creeps and shit. Like, you know they're there. You know they're there.
Was James Earl Jones, when did he start doing his acting? Was he younger or did he start late?
No, he started at a fairly young. I mean, shit. He was 93 and he did Star Wars in 77. So I mean, shit. That was still kind of late technically.
Yeah.
Look at his movies. What's his first movie? He was born in 1931.
Jones began his acting career at the Remdesel Theater in Mainstea, Michigan,
That's right.
in 1953.
That's right. So he did. He was doing plays and shit. So
he was a stage carpenter.
Well, during the mid-'60s, he acted in various works of William Shakespeare, becoming one of the best-known Shakespeare actors of the time. Wow. So he did a lot of theater.
Was in Othello.
He did a theater stuff.
Yeah.
What was his first movie, though? Right here. Jones starred alongside Jane Alexander and Howard Sackler's play, if you go down one up, The Great White Hope. That was seemingly his first in 1967.
And at the arena stage, that was still a play.
Oh, it's still
thing.
plays.
Yeah.
Go to his movies real quick in here. Can you just hit, like, if you scroll down to, like, or wherever it would be, look at his career. Rise to Promise, 1973. There you do. Yeah.
Acting credits.
There you go. That's a good one. They don't have any. Fucking wiki. Fucking Wikipedia. So it seems like probably late 60s.
Oh, yeah,
I think his
time.
first prominent role probably was Star Wars, man. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think so?
Well, I mean, shit. What wars did he get
He
before
did
that?
Sesame Street in the early 70s.
Mm.
He won the Pulitzer for drama
Yeah.
in 68.
Oh, right here. 1970, Jones reunited with Jane Alexander in the film adaptation of The Great White Hope. This would be Jones's first leading role.
Oh, okay. So his first major thing was in 1970.
His performance was acclaimed by critics and earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, even. Oh, that's okay. So early 70s, he started rolling.
In actual, like, film and movies, but like he was already established as like a
theater
big guy in theater.
Theater, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, sad.
You
man.
don't see that anymore, though. You don't see a lot of actors like do the theater shit for a long time, then break out into movies.
Yeah,
at least you don't hear about it.
I think what it is now is, especially now, I feel like theater to me, and you can criticize me because I'm not a huge theater nerd or anything, but I feel like theater to me, it's very separated from like movies. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like this, even like theater singers, like, you know, that kind of stage. There's like a trained singer, and to me, it sounds very trained, and, you know what I mean? It's not very unique as a whole.
Yeah.
I feel like they've separated themselves more and more over the decades where, you know, theater is very, very good, but it's not quite the same. Now, there are actors that go into theater and do plays and shit for Broadway and other things that, you know what I'm saying? That's cool too. You know what I mean? What was it, that one movie that's kind of like a musical with Hugh Jackman? You know what I'm talking about? Where he's like the circus thing. That's not a theater thing, but, you know, that kind of
it's kind of the same thing.
That dancey, like theatrical style.
It's more theater than it is like traditional acting in a feature film or something.
Well, hey man, cheers.
I don't really care for musicals.
I don't love them either. But
I avoid them.
The Great, what was it called? What is that movie called, man? The Great something.
I don't know.
I will tell you, as much as I do not love musicals myself, that was actually a really great movie, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty goddamn good.
What was it called?
I'm sure they're saying it in the comments right now. I thought it was a great something, man. What is it? God dang it. No, they're not.
I don't know.
Damn it.
The Great something.
No, it's not the Great something. The Hugh Jackman musical. Do that. There's no way you can not get it pop up right away. But there's a couple songs in that were actually really good. That movie was actually really good. I'll give it as props. Dude. No?
The Music Man?
The Music Man. No.
No, that's not it.
Shit, dude. What was that movie called? No, that's definitely not The Music Man.
Oh.
There you go. Just do this. Yeah. That's not it. What is this? What are we on right now? Oh, this is a play, dude. It's not a play.
I don't know.
Huh. What the hell was it, man? Anyways, fuck it. I don't need it. We don't need it. You can go to Wiki if you want. It's not even relevant at this point.
Yeah.
It is good though. It is really, really good. But anyways, James Earl Jones, rest your soul, man.
Rest in peace, James.
Rest in peace. It's a you know, some hit you harder. This I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna say, because, you know, it's hard to cry over something that, you know, you know, had a good life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you can't like have a career like that and like not be accomplished. Like you can't not be satisfied with what you've done.
No, and you're going down as a great, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't even just like a small fucking. He had some seriously iconic roles. He's gonna go down as one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? Like for sure. Look at that face. How could you not like that face? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, fuck. Okay, enough of that. I guess. I mean, how much could we go on for? We just talk for hours. Talk for hours and hours. Old Mufasa. You know what I'm saying? Other news. Let's see. What else is going on, man? I was kind of at work all day, but I'll tell you this. Apparently, there's a rise in sacrifices.
What?
Yeah, there's a rise in animal sacrifices in Queens.
You
hear about this?
No.
Look that shit up. New York Post. New York Post.
Rise in sacrifices.
New York Post. Rise in animal sacrifices. I saw this shit. I was skimming through some articles, and just kind of, I try to look and see what's brewing. And I noticed on Twitter this thing was popping a little bit. Animal sacrifices on the rise in Queens with chickens, pigs being tortured in twisted rituals. Yeesh.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I had chicken and pigs the other night.
Yeah, I mean, they're good food.
I had chicken wrapped in bacon.
That's not a bad dish, though. You know what I'm saying? I like that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Listen, I ain't mad eating a little chicken and pig. I ain't mad. It's just how you doing.
Is that if I like drink beer and it's cooked on a Traeger? Is that ritualistic?
Well, this goes a little deeper. This actually, and it's not like we don't have to go deep in the weird part of it, but what it is really is about Haitians. This is about the Haitians.
Oh, with the voodoo magic.
Yeah, bro. So, what got me rolling on this was there was an article. I don't know if it was Steven Crowder that was talking about it, but Springfield, Ohio. Okay. Springfield, Ohio. There is and this is actually kind of crazy. I got to be honest with you. It's a little bit wild. There's a town, Springfield, Ohio, and the population, I think, is around 56, 60,000 people in that ballpark. Okay. Right? So we're talking a fairly small town.
Decent, yeah.
Kind of like what we grew up in. Longview's about that, pretty close. For whatever reason, it's a hot spot for them dropping off immigrants. And now there are 20,000 Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio.
Oh, but we have to accept them.
So we're talking...
They need our help.
20,000 of the 60... from what I understand, are Haitians now. So we're talking like 33% of the population.
Well, actually 20,000 of the 80 now, right?
Well, no, I think it's 60 with the Haitians now.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But I'm just saying what he said was it was like 30%, 33% Haitian now. You're talking about a pretty significant part of the population, bro. This is not just like, this is just a small, like, they end up here. They're getting
That's also going to be like a massive culture shock to the town.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are not they are not happy, bro. So there was I got into on my lunch today. I got into a little rabbit hole of what's going on in Springfield. And listen, let's be very clear. A lot of
did the Simpsons predict this?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Maybe they predict a lot, but just to be clear, there's certain evidence that this is going on. There's some hearsay. So how erratic is this thing? I don't know 100%, but I'll tell you this. There were some videos of, and this is kind of funny. I gotta be honest with you. There's some videos of locals in Springfield, Ohio, and they were talking. I wish I would have saved it. Maybe we could find it, but either way, there was some videos of like a city council. City council.
Okay.
And there's a comedian who's been documenting this shit. And I know because he's a comedian, it's easy to jump the gun and maybe say that like it's bullshit. He's making it. But it's really happening. These citizens are not happy. And one of the reasons they're most upset about this whole situation is that they're driving. The Haitians are driving cars. Mm-hmm. And they're wrecking everything. They're literally wrecking their cars all over the place.
Really?
The
like
amount,
they just don't know how to drive?
They don't know how to drive. And they're allowed to drive, which is
how?
Well,
I guess I mean, if you are here illegally in the first place, you don't really need to be allowed to drive. You can just get a fucking car and drive it.
Dude. So, you guys can look it up. We can look it up if you want to. But
so they're just flying around this town, crashing, going, "Woo, America!"
Apparently, they're running into buildings. They're running into cars. They're throwing trash all over the streets. Like there was one accusation. Well, there's video actually of a Haitian guy hitting a woman's car, and he's just like, "It wasn't my fault." And she's like, "You pulled out in front of me." The truth is, and the lady's like, I just feel like they should be having to take driver classes. I mean, they clearly are not good drivers. They're just running into look at this. Yeah, play this real quick. Yeah, play this one. This is a woman who I actually watched this one. She was talking about that they're moving. They're actually moving.
Oh, they're just going to say, I'm fucking done.
She has I remember this girl. She has an elderly husband, and she said it's unsafe. But go ahead and play a little bit of it. This one's not the car wreck one.
I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard, and I can't. Look at me. I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens. I mean, I understand they're here under temporary protected status, and you're protecting them, and I understand that our city services are overwhelmed and understaffed. But who's protecting us? If we're protecting them, who's protecting me?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that's her talking about.
That's a good point.
Some of the Haitians, yeah. But there's a video, and maybe you can search it up while I'm chatting here. It's angry Springfield, Ohio citizens. Like this. Yeah, this guy. I watched his too. He's talking about them wrecking and shit. Yeah. His insurance went up significantly. Springfield leader, residents can push for state federal help on immigration. They literally in the Springfield News Sun. This article, what's that say? Springfield leaders, residents can push for state federal help. It's a car wreck. Like there's so many fucking car wrecks. They are just talking about. So this guy was claiming that these guys are literally just like driving off the road, hitting buildings, and just leaving the cars.
God.
Now, what's crazy is it's not shocking. Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a little tangent here about the car stuff. What is Haitian man in Dominican Republic? Oh, so that's the Dominican Republic. There we go. No. But I looked this up. I didn't look this one up. This was said by, I think it was Crowder. I want to say it was Crowder. I don't remember who I was watching. I was watching a clip from somebody talking about it. I think it was Crowder. But he was saying that like there's 3 cars for every 1,000 people in Haiti. So there's not a lot of fucking cars. There's no cars. Like they can't afford it. No one drives. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very low number, dude.
That's weird.
So they come here, and the point is
how do they just walk around in Haiti? Or do they have like mopeds and stuff?
Yeah, probably. I just don't think I don't think that is a necessity there.
Huh. Well, it's a small
but
place.
the video is there's multiple videos of them interacting with these Haitians, and this one lady's just like, I can't stand them. Like they need to go back where they're from. And I know that sounds really bad, but 20,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty significant number. But to get back on what we were talking about, you can look this up if you want while I'm looking, but was the animal sacrifices, man. And it's not okay. So in Queens, it's seemingly this one says a Haitian was responsible for an accident that killed an 11-year-old in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, that's what most of these were about.
Yeah. But so in Queens, we're talking about religious animal sacrifices. Play this one right here. That's the guy. This guy's the comedian. Yeah, this is the comedian.
Come out from doing.
Yeah, this is a little longer. We don't have to watch the whole thing.
Come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets, and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits, and I'm getting out here every day, and I'm broadcasting this, and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like, I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into... They flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
Yes.
Y'all get the Highway State Patrol down here.
Pause it. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what's happening in fucking Springfield, bro.
They in the park grabbing up ducks.
Yes.
And cutting their heads off and eating them.
I don't remember if there's the video of it or multiple people saw it, but this Haitian man walked to the park.
Right here.
No, that's a different guy.
He's still got a fucking...
That's a geese, though. They don't even... Listen, I've seen this one, and to be fair, no one knows if he's an immigrant, if he's Haitian or anything, but this guy does have a full geese that he killed. He killed a full Canada geese, bro.
A goose. He's having goose for dinner. That's fucking... He's eating good.
This particular one says, I can't take it anymore. Residents of Springfield, Ohio, population 60,000, beg for help after 20,000 Haitians overwhelm the city. So maybe it is 80,000. Eat local wildlife, neighbor pets, cars, school buses being flipped on their sides in the middle of the road. Springfield is less than 30 minutes from Columbus, Ohio, 30 minutes from Dayton. One resident from before city council says who's getting paid. That's the guy we just watched. But so the point, to get back on the actual topic, was there are witnesses. Look at this shit. There's witnesses that are seeing these men go down to the lakes, grab a goose, a little geese, and fucking behead that sucker and then fucking eat it.
Do they eat it right there?
I don't know. But they're eating.
Oh, they're
pets.
cooking it. They're cooking it around the street.
That's not America, bro. That is. Well, maybe that was, bro.
They're here in Europe. This is in Europe.
Oh.
Haitians in Europe too.
Yeah, and it's
it says Haitians stealing and eating people's cats in Ohio. That's usual. We're here in Europe. There's ahead of you guys.
There's a bunch of shit that's going on, and I want to be very, very clear. Obviously, that not all of it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like there's many people talking about this woman right here was really bad, dude. Look at that shit.
What the fuck? What is she? Why?
Once again, these are only 2 videos of pets being eaten in Springfield, Ohio, and they're both Americans. The video you posted is not a Haitian. See, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But that woman stomped on a head of a cat. Now, here's the thing that this is the issue, okay? And I think this is an important topic, man. Like, so in Queens, they're finding in the park, there's an area, some park over there, and they found like 2 pigs. One had a gash all the way down its head, and it was covered in oil and seasoning.
Cooking that fucker.
They were gonna
cook. They probably got caught, but they were gonna fire up the bonfire and cook that fucker on rotisserie.
But man, why would you season it before it's, man, like
you gotta get that pig skin, bro.
Yeah,
you gotta get that skin all crispy.
I think you gotta let it go. You don't see anybody fucking seasoning up a cow before it's ready to hit the grill.
Yeah, but you don't eat cow skin.
It's alive,
maybe
though.
It was alive. Maybe they like eating pig skin.
It was alive.
You eat pig skin. What are those called? The fucking there's little snacks you like the pig ears.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
that's
for
fine.
Dogs and like stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
They probably eat that shit too.
Yeah, I know. Shish and rum. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Shish and rum. You know what I'm saying? But my point is you kill that pig first, and then you clean it and you do what you gotta do. Fine.
No,
but there was another pig that was found that had its ear half lopped off. There was chicken heads. There was a baby rat that was found that was dead or dying. It was still alive. That had its neck tied up inside of a bag of chicken bones. I mean, we're talking about some.
Okay, that's some weird voodoo.
We're talking about some voodoo style shit here.
Yeah, if you got animals and like tied up in chicken bones, you're doing weird shit.
They found I think a dog that had broken legs that was gimping around.
Yeah.
So we're talking about some pretty heinous shit.
Yeah, well, I don't really care what you do to rats. Like, do what you want to rats.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck about rats. I don't think anybody really does.
Yeah.
If you're Haitian and you want to fucking storm New York, eat all the rats. I'm sure they'd love it. Eat all the rats. And then they don't have a rat problem anymore.
Well, I mean, the issue is the issue is this. When you talk about immigration, listen, I feel like I'm fairly understanding of immigration. I think it's a big part of our country.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I need to say that, but you guys understand. Like, immigration is a big part of this country. A lot of us,
legal immigration.
Most of us came from immigrants at some point in the history of this country, and it's really important, man. And but there's a process to it, People came here to work hard. They came here to make a living. They didn't come here for handouts. And I think that's what switched is I feel like people come here thinking that they're going to be given things, not earn those things, right?
I don't even think it's thinking they're going to be given things anymore. I think it's they're being promised things.
That may be the case.
Yeah.
But the issue comes down to this. Not everybody in this world, whether we want to admit it or not, are equal. They're not. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're less of. I'm not saying, and I know when I say they're not equal, that kind of means that they're less of. But when you're inviting someone into your home, which I consider America as our home, right? You need somebody that values the things that we value, and the zest, as I'll call it, that we all bring to this great pot of America. It's the zest.
The zest that is Americana.
Well, no, it's the zest that culture brings. There's, whether you're Hispanic or you're European or you're African or anything, if you come here, you bring a piece of that with you. And we all respect that. We all like it. We like trying new foods. We like, my wife is absolutely obsessed with like Hispanic culture, like the colors, the family, or, the way that they are. There's a lot to respect about it. There's a lot to enjoy, and having that zest, that seasoning of America makes us really, really great. You know what I'm saying? We're full of spices. We're full of like good things. We all bring in, traits that we
everybody
grew up with.
loves a little flavor.
There you go. The issue is when you throw poo in the pot, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden it gets a little rough. And I mean that listen, when you look at, when we've talked about Haiti and let's be very clear, there's a lot of stuff in that country that's been really bad. And a lot of it is America doing it to them. Whether, I don't think us as a whole have done it, but politicians, absolutely. We've talked about
not America as a people, America as a government,
as a business.
Yeah.
And the Clintons and listen, we don't need to trudge in those waters again, but the Clintons really fucked that place up too. And there's a lot of problems, man. Yeah. And to be 100% fair, I don't think a lot of those things are their fault. I mean, could they do better? Could they take over and run a bit? I don't know, but they've been hosed on occasion. So I don't want to take that away. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of and they had the earthquake that was devastating.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, but when you look at the culture that some of these places have, they like just the car thing's funny until you realize that culture, they just don't even value cars. They can't afford it. Maybe it's not a part of their culture, and they come here. And, you have a little cash or whatever, you get something, and they buy a car, and they're like, oh, so I can drive now. That's great. I never driven before. And what's the consequence? I mean, let's be real.
Where are they getting the cars from?
Dude, they should start with.
Are they just stealing cars, or are they actually getting, or is someone actually giving them cash?
Well, listen,
they're getting cars.
They have to work. They have to work.
No, they don't.
No, I mean, they don't have to, but I imagine that some of them do. Like small jobs.
I guarantee they do.
They're doing construction. They're doing field work.
Yeah, somebody's hiring them.
They're doing something.
Because they're cheap as fuck.
Yeah. They're doing something. Yeah. And so they got a little money in their pocket. And here's the thing. The laws are the laws. However, and that show, I wish I could remember which one it was, but they were talking about it, and it makes perfect sense. They're like, so what's the consequence? I think it was Crowder. What's the consequence? So wait, I can get a car? Yeah, you can get a car. Well, you need a license, but what if I don't have a license? This is the way that I think Crowder was saying it. What happens then? Well, you may get pulled over and you get a ticket, or, okay, but I can still drive. Like, yeah, you can still drive. What if you don't have insurance? Well, then you might get pulled over and get a ticket for not having insurance. Okay. What if you wreck a car? You know what I'm saying? You don't have insurance. Well, they'll have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no real consequence, dude. Yeah. You could just get in a car. And if you don't really care because you're not a citizen, you don't have any respect for, the culture here that we have or the people of this country, which I'm not saying they all don't care, but I imagine most don't. If they're not part of your community, do you really care? No. And so they're just doing it. They're just doing it. And
they're on joyrides.
Yeah. And they wreck. It's just, what happens in Haiti, what happens in El Salvador, like, name it. You wreck your car, you just leave it in the side, you throw trash out in the street. I mean, come on, man. We've seen videos. There's a couple really great YouTube guys who go around, travel different rough parts of the world, and they videotape and they talk to the locals. And I don't know why it is. I don't know what makes it that way. But they just the one that got me was I want to say it was like in Kenya, or it was something. It was an African country, and all these huts. there was a huge population of huts that lived in the water. Like they were, the huts were raised above the water, and there was like boats, and it was just jam packed. And this guy was filming it, and they seemed like great people, man. Don't get me wrong. Like they were very friendly. They wanted the best for their children, all that stuff. But they have outhouses. Mm-hmm. Like all these huts, they're just jammed, dude, next to each other.
And they're just shitting in the water.
And they shit in the outhouse that drops right in the water. The piss and right into the fucking water.
Okay.
And the water is black and murky and fucking gross as fuck looking. And there's kids swimming all over the place. They're just underwater, blah, and they're filming the shit. And they're just swimming in the water. And there's fucking shit all the fuck over the place in there. Now, here's the thing.
Okay, what?
You got to have an immune system of fucking steel. You know what I'm saying?
True. You got a fucking immune force field.
Oh.
But also, that doesn't make any sense. Like, do the people not even?
They know.
Do they just not like look at the shit falling into the water and then see the kids swimming around next to it and put two and two together and be like, that's.
But see, that's the point. It's like that's two, and you could call it like first world shit. Like we're like, don't they under? Yeah, I'm sure they do understand.
I feel like that's common sense shit. You don't swim.
But
dogs know that.
But
basic animals know you don't shit where you sleep.
I know, but the problem is like it's life. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound dramatic, but like that's the surroundings that they're in, and the kids. There's waterways and listen, the little huts are what they are. Like I'm not saying they're all bad. There's very little electricity, and some of them, but they're swimming. They're your kids. They're swimming. They're just doing their shit, but there's literally shit in there. And why I say that, this is why I brought that story up, is because
they have the same mentality when they get here.
It's not that they have. Yeah, I mean that's probably the right way to say it. But when you grow up and your whole existence is this really traumatic. I'm not trying to say that they're all traumatic. If you don't know better, you don't know better, right?
Yeah.
But the point is if you live in a society and your whole existence is in a society where throwing trash in the street because there's no garbage pickups, or taking a shit in the middle of the street or in the water is no big deal, or fucking just seeing a stray animal and just fucking chopping its head off and cooking it for dinner, that's norm. That's the norm.
Yeah.
How do you transition a person like that into a society where there are law supposedly and function? How do you do that?
And it's the same way no matter where you are in every part of the country. Just like when you go into an area that is heavily Hispanic, and there may or may not be a lot of illegals there.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But then you go into a gas station restroom, and there's shit covered toilet paper in the garbage can instead of the toilet.
Yeah, I never understood that. I really don't understand that. I never will.
That's how you know. That's how you know that they didn't grow up here, and they grew up there because the plumbing isn't the same. So they put the shit in the fucking garbage and not flush it.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that personally. That is true.
It's the other one. I don't know if it's just habit or they just that is probably just habit.
Probably habit. And listen. Is it gross? I think it's gross.
Very.
In this society, I think that's perceived as very gross. And part of it is, if you're trying to play fair on this and you're trying to be even with this, it's like, are you mad about it? It's like, no, if that's what you always did, like it's really hard, but at the same time, you have to like assimilate a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Putting shit in a garbage can, and it's not the same thing as taking a car and just wrecking it into buildings.
Yeah. And the other thing that I saw a lot of when I was in Portland, I haven't seen any here or anywhere else for that matter, but in Portland, when I was working in Portland, we had a very large Vietnamese population and Cambodian population that would come shop. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's others too. But one of my responsibilities at the time was, I would pick up the bathrooms and shit at night. We had a single stall bathroom in our store. We had a men's and a women's, just one toilet, what I mean? And so I'd go in there and fluff it up, make sure it was good to go for the next day. And it was very common to see.
You would only do it at the end of the day?
Well, I would do it at the end of we did it throughout the day, but I'm saying like deep clean. Like I'd go in there and I'd clean the toilet and I'd fill up the toilet paper and make sure we had paper and that the mirrors were cleaned, the whole nine. But it was very common to go into the bathrooms and see footprints on the seat. Very common. Squatting on the seats. So in Asian countries, a lot of Asian countries, they poop in holes. And so they squat their butt down and they poop into a hole.
You know, I've actually heard that position is better for you.
I've heard it too. And I'm not criticizing. No, I'm not criticizing. But
I'm
point
just saying maybe we're doing it wrong.
Maybe. But the truth is we have toilets, you know what I'm saying, that have a function.
Yeah.
And now am I mad about footprints on the seat? No. Like I can wipe the seat down, there's footprint, like you see shoe prints.
But the aim is off.
The aim was off sometimes.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is it's not made for that. Because when you poop in a hole, there's no water.
Yeah, and it splashes.
And you got splashing. And
it's not always solid turds.
And it always smelled hot. You know what I mean? Like it smelled like hot seasoning. You know what I mean? It smelled like a Cajun fish boil. You know what I'm saying? Or something.
Yeah, but that smells good.
It doesn't smell good when you know it came out of an asshole. It's not the same. It's not like a fresh cooked meal. And
then
you're
don't
like, oh.
use like Cajun fish boil as the reference.
I'm just saying
that would smell good.
You know when you smell something and it tingles your nose because it's got those good herbs. These poos were seasoned. They were marinated for who knows.
Like when you eat like too many buffalo wings and then it's like very spicy coming out.
There you go.
But it doesn't smell like buffalo wings.
But my point is they. As people decided that they were going to continue to do the squatting method because that's what they've always done and that's what they're going to do. Regardless of our seats, now you can actually buy seats. You can buy toilets right now. Normal, like, Americanized, Westernized toilets.
Foot holster?
They got foot pads on the side. Oh. So if you want to squat, they have these foot pads and you can poo in there.
I didn't know that.
But my point is not to criticize necessarily that, but my point is people do what they are always done.
Yeah.
And you can say that it's heartless. You can say all the things you want that but we have a system. And if we can't respect the system and the people that are coming can't respect the system, what are we doing? So to go back to the Haitians, I'm not trying to pick on them, but it seems to be an issue in at least some of these places.
Right now. Yeah.
If they're not used to having law and order and they're not used to like following rules and they're used to throwing, and that one lady was saying they're throwing bags of maggots and shit, like food with maggots all over it. There's tons of people talking about the destruction of their neighborhoods because there's just a lack of giving a shit, or not even maybe that, but just they maybe care, but that is what they do. Like they're not used to the whole process.
Or is it the other side of it, and they're being brought here to do just that?
Well, I think they're being brought here to vote. There's that. But these side issues, I think are I don't think they're brought per se for that. I think that would be a pretty big. Hey, you guys can come here, but here's the deal: you got to fuck this shit up. I think they just know. You know what I mean? Like
that's just what they do.
Culturally, it's going to be a very hard butting of heads. And how do you fix it now? Animals getting sacrificed. I mean, shit, man. Like,
I just feel like regardless of where you are from, if you really wanted to be, I want to move to America. I want to be, I want to become American. Like, I want to rediscover myself in this place and start anew.
Yeah.
I feel like you would do what you had to do or do your best to be what the standard of America is, and not necessarily come here and then just continue the bullshit.
That's my issue. You can say whatever you want about it. That's my issue. My issue is this is how I just view it as a very simplistic form. If you came from an abusive house or a place of destruction and chaos or any of that stuff, right? And you had the opportunity to leave that home.
Yeah.
And somebody was willing to take you into their home. Like, no one would think it was okay for you just to fucking destroy their home.
Yeah.
And not respect that you were being brought in because you were in a bad position and now we're trying to help you and we're even giving you aid.
Well,
and to have zero sense of self-awareness or reflection, or just, if you're in another, if any of you, and I've never traveled to Europe or anything, and I don't think you have either. But if you go to another country, even just another community, but let's arguably another country that's got a very different system. People make fun of those people that are like oblivious to being foreigners and they're being disrespectful to the cultures.
Oh yeah.
You always see those videos of the horse in England, where that you can take the picture and
they walk up and they're like defaming the thing.
And they're just being,
they're pissing people off.
And people make fun of that on the internet. They're like, look at these fucking asshole tourists that have no clue what they're doing and they're being disrespectful. But then when it comes to like, we have immigrants, it's like, you better not say they're disrespectful. It's the same thing.
It's the same fucking thing.
Like, you just go, hey, I don't know how this all works. I'm just going to kind of stand back here and figure this out.
And
you know what I'm saying?
that's my point. Like, if you were coming here to better yourself and better your life, that's not how you would be acting.
Yeah. So on a lighter note, though.
So you came here for different reasons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On a lighter note, if you can Google this for me.
Oh, God.
Trump with cats running from Haitians. Because this is circulating, it's kind of blown up a little bit. There's lots of cool memes. And like, these are Trump memes with him like protecting animals.
Oh, God.
Okay, Google Images. Go to Google Images. There we go. Oh, dude, you're on a different thing, man. So there you go. That's one. I mean, that's one. That's not the good one.
He's walking.
He's holding the cats. He's saving them, man. They got a presumable Haitian in the back.
Oh, God.
Dude, I wish you had the other one, because these are gems, bro.
Hold on.
You gonna switch it up on me?
Yeah, hold on.
It's so good. It's worth seeing. Man, please come up here. This is that meme.
Oh, God.
But he's running from the zombies.
Running from zombies, yeah. That's actually pretty good.
That's a pretty good one.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's not it though. That's not the one. There's one that I think is just hilarious. There's two actually that are. God dang, man. Oh, that's one. He's got the AR.
Yeah.
This vulture is negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man.
Protecting those cats,
God.
bro. Dude, you're not gonna. I don't know if you're
Probably
gonna find
not.
it on this. Dude, look at this. I love you. Like, go to the quote real quick before you play it. It says, "I love you. I would never let the Haitians eat you."
Never let the Haitians eat you.
Dude, his face.
God dang it, man. AI is getting too good. That's a good fucking AI image, dude.
Well, I mean, but you can see it though. I mean, you can. You gotta scroll for one more second, man. There's a couple in here. That one right there, dude. That's not even it. That's a close second.
God dang it.
It's pretty bad, dude. He's like, no. Never. There's this one here. I can show you on mine. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's got the
he's hugging the cat and the fucking duck.
Just
save us. Vote Trump.
Oh my God, man. It's fucking brilliant. I love it so much. I think it's great. Just all the cat memes, all the fucking ducks and shit.
God.
I mean, when are we gonna see like PETA come out against this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, when are we gonna see some fucking?
Yeah, as soon as like foreigners start coming and swiping up ducks from the pond in the park, and they start decapitating them and just eating them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a big no when it comes to PETA.
You know, it's just one of those things, man. You know, it's like, I get it. I would say arguably that, maybe eating a fresh duck is probably healthier than McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? But we do have law. We do have rule.
But I mean,
we do have rules.
Yeah.
We have systems in place to, and apparently that guy with the Canada goose, you know what I'm saying, that he had killed. Apparently it's legal to hunt those things. You know what I'm saying? But I think you have to have certain.
That's a good one too.
It's a great one. It's Trump looks very stumpy in that one. I gotta be honest with you. He's very low to the ground,
He's being aerodynamic.
But listen, I'm not trying to get on a tangent, but I guess what I'm ultimately getting at is that, we have to be able to acknowledge that certain things are gonna have trouble coexisting together.
Yeah.
And like when you bring people in, like you may have issues, and it's something that I'm not saying we can't work it. I'm not saying that it's something that can't be fixed. But there has to be something with people coming in and just, this is why you can't just get a driver's license. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There has to be something like we all have to go through a class to get our driver's, certificate and be able to get a license, and we have to renew, and we have to have insurance. And I just feel like there has to be a system that some of these cities can do and deal with. And even like, how do you incorporate people into society? You know what I'm saying? Keep those flavors.
You can only incorporate people in society that want to be here for the right reasons, that want to be like bring their culture but also embrace what it is to be in America. And if they're only here to do the bullshit, then there's no helping them. And that's why when Trump gets elected, he's going to deport everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you want in, you come in the right way.
Yeah, man. It's I think obviously there needs to be a process. It needs to be something that people that come here want to better themselves. They come here because they respect what was built and want to contribute to what was built, and instead of feeding off of what was built. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, I will say this. I guess a little bit of props to Gavin Newsom. Never thought I'd say this, but apparently he did veto that bill.
Well, I think
to some extent, that's my understanding. I didn't dive into it. I didn't go into like why. He did give a reason supposedly. I just saw the highlight.
I think they immediately got backlash. And
well, I know. Listen. I'm not saying. Well, they did get some, but also, I'd like to think, and I know it's not true. But I'd like to think that even an insane person like Gavin Newsom has some sense of rationality. That's probably not a good idea. You know what I mean? Or that his constituents would not like that. You know what I mean?
You would think.
I would like to think that. So for the time being, until I read more on it, I will say that's good of you to veto something that was that terrible, bro. Should be a given.
At least you do something right.
I feel like the Haitians are going to be the new fucking, Middle East fucking. Remember that shit? Everybody was like, what was it? What were the... You know what I'm saying? Where everybody's like, oh, terrorists. Now it's the Haitians.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching.
Yeah.
Join us on Wednesday for another episode of the Last Americans podcast.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, DeWalt Skillsaw.
And hide your kids, hide your cats, hide your geese. The Haitians are coming for you.
Ugh. Later, guys.